We are live.
Hey everybody! Welcome to episode 11 of
Wait,
What's
Bruises?
Why you say wait?
I was like trying to do 11.
I thought you was throwing up the W.
I was like,
What's this? We don't know anything about gang signs.
No, we're not.
This is our very first live, so pressure's off. We're gonna work through this. Technical issues might come up, but we are riding on some crazy faith that everything goes smooth. And if it doesn't, you guys are here to witness it, and help us kind of get through the journey of going live.
We're all friends here, guys. Be nice to us. You know, it's our first live. We're gonna work through the kinks of any arises, and we're gonna be sending out a link so you guys could join us and share in on the conversation.
Absolutely.
My favorite saying. It'll be lots of fun.
It's gonna be so much fun.
And if this is your first time watching, we are appreciative of you joining us today. I'm Deonna.
I'm Bianca.
And I am Shelly.
And here we come together to serve the brew.
Serving it up.
Nice and hot. So how was you guys' week? How'd it go?
Our week is great. What was it? Tuesday was my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. So I'm still in the midst of celebrations. We got a big weekend planned.
We do.
Fun things happening. I only know a little bit. And I haven't asked questions.
Okay.
You know, I haven't been nosy. I'm just going to let them do their thing.
Well, thank you.
And that's because I have faith that y'all kind of...
Look at you.
Yeah.
Bring it all together. Yeah.
Yes. So I want to let you guys talk. I want to work on getting the link sent to our Facebook page so our family and friends can join on the live.
So my week very busy with work, car shopping. Car shopping is crazy, guys. It's like the house market. It's like if you're not there, the car goes, or you have to put a deposit down and then wait a million years. But you know, I have faith that it'll come to an end soon. So I just want to have a new car before the winter comes because it's not hot out here in the streets. Sliding around.
The housing market is much say like the housing market.
The car market
market
is like it is. So when I bought my house, I probably said this on the previous podcast. I put offers on multiple homes before I got this one. So with the cars, it's like you get there and it's like, oh, we just sold it, or you have to put in a offer or a deposit or whatever. I had one guy tell me that it's taking someone a year to get their car. They ordered it and it's beyond a year at this point.
A year? What is that?
There's chip shortage. Like things are happening. I don't know.
Do you think any of these shortages are being made up?
I do think some of them are made up so that companies can make extra money because they're making a killing on the price of these cars. I have one car, right? I have to tell this story. So I went to a dealership. The price is online. I'm like, okay, cool, perfect. They had an available car. I get there. We get to the point where we're like going over the deal. And then I'm like, these numbers ain't numbering. Like, this math ain't mathing to me. Something ain't right. It look a little inflated. So I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, what is this extra $4,300? And they're like, oh, that's the market value upcharge. And I'm like, what does that mean? Because this car is in high demand and there's a shortage of vehicles, we're just going to charge you a just because fee of $4,300.
Wait a minute. That's the just because.
The just because. And I just because asked them for my PG. Like, yeah, you guys have a great day.
Bianca plays no games like she played with her house. So when she gets to that point where she's like, nah, this ain't right, I'm leaving. Take the keys and give me my stuff back. I will give you your stuff back. I enjoy that about you because Bianca actually went with me to get my car, and I always gotta bring somebody along that knows, so I won't get cheated. And yes, there were points where I think you made the sales guy scared. Where it was like, look, she really knows what she's talking about. I'm like, yeah, she does.
Somebody was like, don't leave me. I'm like, you got cheated, bro. He was trying to boost the interest rate. I'm like, nah, you got cheated. That don't even sound like right.
Yeah. So get your Bianca moral to that story.
I'll be ready to go.
Yes.
So.
Well, great luck on finding this car. You'll get it.
I have crazy faith.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you do.
How about you, Deonna? How's your week?
My week was busy, just at work. We're entering to our busy season, so lots of work, lots of phone calls, lots of. I took on an additional role at work because that's the kind of crazy I am. They asked me to do something. I'm like, yeah, sure. So yeah.
You're a crazy and wild girl. Okay, taking all the extra work at work. That's true. Whew. I'm on vacation this week, so I don't even want to hear the word.
Right. Nothing that starts with the W.
I'm like, it's making me break out. So I'm sure I'll be just fine.
Absolutely.
So, in addition to work and life and birthdays and all that crazy stuff, we did read this book, Crazy Faith, and also on Audible.
Yeah.
So I was listening to it in the car before we came live, and this was a good read. I felt like this book he wrote it to me. Like it was so many different topics. I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I think I shared this here at one point. Like dang, like I felt like he was talking to me.
What got you there? What made you?
So it was a few different parts, but I think the one about lazy faith got to me. I'm like, dang, that's, some of that can be me. It's like you say you want these things and you say you have faith, but you're not doing any of the things to get what you're talking about you want.
Right.
So they were telling a story about oh gosh, I'm bad with names. I'm horrible with names.
Just open up the chapter so it can refresh your memory.
It was a guy who couldn't walk in the Bible, and his friends brought him
on his bed, on his mattress, basically.
Yeah.
Carried him to Jesus, lowered him into the house, took the roof off. Yeah.
That one. That was like, man. And then also I was thinking about our friendship. Like, man, like his friends really brought him to like get help.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was me.
Okay.
How did you feel about that?
I love the book. The book felt like, and you've said this a couple times before, that it felt like it was talking to you. A chapter that stands out for me was baby faith, and the baby getting up to walk and, believing that they could do it.
Yeah.
I think that kids just have that, like they have this natural faith, and I think over time life causes you to kind of question, you know, if you can do or achieve goals and things like that. But I want to tune into that faith, that baby faith, that faith that is not, it's not, someone else is not pouring in their opinions in that faith. I can kind of just walk with God and have this trust, because I say that I have the trust, but when it gets down to like someone doing something to kind of rock it, I'm like, oh God, what's gonna happen? So I don't want to do that. I want to avoid having my faith testing it and believing, say, the enemy, maybe that's too dramatic, but believing that someone would take that from me. So that's a piece that stands out for me in the book. That
was actually talked about in either Waiting Faith or Maybe Faith, that, you say you have faith, but, is it going to be something that rocks that faith? So I think that stood out to me as well. I was like, I was thinking about, my faith got a little rocked in 2019 where I was like, I got faith, but it's feeling a little shaky right now because, it's just things didn't go the way I thought it should have went.
Yeah.
But who are you to question God and his plan? But it was rough.
Right.
So
and that's the thing. It's like when things like that do happen, I mean that's earth shattering. You lose somebody that you love so much, and it kind of is like, Okay.
Right? Exactly. That's it.
Right. It's like what do you want me to like? What is it? What is left for me to trust?
Yeah.
And so it's those moments like I need a second. I need a minute, because if someone would ask me in that time, like say when I lost my cousin, it's like, do you have faith in God? Yeah. My first reaction would be, but look at what happened. Look at this not dramatic, but look at this thing that happened that really rocks your world.
Right.
So, yeah. So what your faith has been tested. My faith has been tested. What's your faith testing moment?
Well, I feel like I have several faith testing moments, but I also have several faith reassuring moments.
Yeah.
So, for me, even the things that are like heavy or hard to bear in the moment, it doesn't necessarily shake my faith. Even if I have a moment of sadness, I experience grief. We all, have suffered loss. I don't think.
Not even a question? A little tiny question mark?
No, I think I've gotten to a place where I realize that my will doesn't necessarily have anything to do with God's will. So although I would will that every person I love be with me until the end of time, I logically know that's not how it's written. That's not how it's going to go. Every person has their appointed time to die. So death is not something that, takes me away from faith. I think probably more like I have the faith to believe that God can heal, deliver, set free, and do anything, according to his will. So I think it's just some things that I might not fully understand. Like, why is somebody born with a disability? And their life, the will or the plan for their life is to live out this disability. And maybe we feel like, man, it must be terrible for that person or that they're having a bad experience, but maybe they understand on a deeper level that we don't understand what's going on.
Right.
And really they're here. They're here to teach us something. And we look at them like, oh, we have pity for them, or we have some sense of like remorse for them, but they may be in full understanding of their assignment, and they're not feeling the grief that we're feeling for them because they don't fit societal norms.
So I'm not trying to make you say you have a faith breaking moment, but I just feel
or
like
a testing moment.
Or a testing moment.
One where you just said to God.
It's testing. Yeah. Circumstances, situations, trials, tribulations, diagnosis, all that will test your faith. But it doesn't.
You don't stay there long, or
it doesn't make me doubt.
Well, testing doesn't necessarily is not a thing to make you doubt.
Right. I don't. So even if the outcome is not what I would prefer, I don't feel like because God doesn't do something that he's incapable of doing it. So I might want to have never had to experience cancer, but I did. I had to experience cancer twice.
Yeah.
So, but I never doubted his ability to heal me from it, deliver me from it, that it had some reason in my life to be impactful to someone else. But would I have had my choice? No, I wouldn't have had one chemo treatment, one strand of hair loss, any of that I had to, journey through. I would rather not. But since this is what I had to do, then I said once I understood that, okay, this is the diagnosis or whatever, then my next thing is, okay, so this is going to be beneficial somehow, beneficial for me, beneficial for others. Now, God just give me the strength to, do whatever it is that you want me to do with this. If you want me to be a voice to someone else who's going through it, to let them know that there's, joy on the other side of the diagnosis, okay, I'll do that. If you want me to be a testament to the doctors who say, oh, science says X, Y, and Z must happen. You can only do X, Y, or Z. If I'm here to tell them that your books don't always have the answers. I'm cool with that, you know. I just believe that whatever the task is, there's a rhyme and a reason to it, and sometimes it's just for the benefit of those who don't believe.
And I think that's why we're a good balance, because you're able to look bigger picture. Sometimes I'm smaller. I be like, no. I be like, panic mode. Alarms.
Hey guys,
Alarms
Iris
are
is
going
here.
off.
Say hello to
Hi,
Iris.
Hi, Iris.
Alarms are going off. I am stressed. I am upset. This thing is upsetting me. And this is times I've called you, Deonna. Like, what would Deonna do? Because this happened and I'm mad. And you be like,
Deonna has a different walk. Her faith walk is just a little bit more stronger. See, while you are the way you are, I tend to panic first and then relax about it later. So I'm fine. Deonna, you take that stronger faith walk. So for me, it's not always so easy. I'm trying to get there, but I ain't there.
I'm working on it. I think it's situation by situation.
Yeah.
Some things I don't automatically panic about. Some things I am mildly panicking, like it's gonna work its way up unless I get off this cliff real quick. And sometimes I just panic. It depends on the situation.
Have you guys' faith been tested in the midst of us getting the business started?
You know, it was a chapter where they were talking about, you know, you starting your business. Like they give an example. You're starting your business and things aren't going the way you want them to go out. His example was, Michael Todd's example was, they had this small church and they needed a larger church. So he was making hasty decisions. He went to the Sears warehouse or closed Sears store, and he was going to make that be the church, even though that's not where it was supposed to be. Then he tried to do it again. Like he was being hasty and it didn't work out. And in hindsight, he was glad those things didn't work out. So I think I was having hasty faith. It's where I want these things to happen. I want them to happen like tomorrow and the next day. Like I wanted to, like, you know, I want this to happen so bad that I'm like, sometimes in my head, am I willing to compromise our big vision just to make it happen? And this kind of reassured me that we need to like pull back and wait. Yeah. Like we don't want to compromise what we're doing or what we want to do. Yeah. And then we're in the place and we're have this business, but we're not happy because it wasn't the vision that we wanted. Right. Because we were just in a hurry. We need to make this happen. We need to hurry up. We need to go. We need to start making money. We need to, it's like, let's make sure that our vision comes to fruition. So yes, I did have some hasty faith during this process. Yeah, I would say me too. I think lately, and maybe more so this week, last few weeks, I'm kind of like, oh, I just want to hear answers. I just want to see that this is going to happen. And back to how Deonna works through faith, I think I have learned that in God's will, it will happen. It will happen in its time. It will come. You know, he didn't bring us this far just to bring us this far. Right. It's something that I've had to keep reminding myself of this week. So I'm trying out here. I'm trying.
Yeah. What about you? I feel like everything is going to happen the way it's supposed to, and in the time that it's supposed to, as you both just said, as long as we don't make a hasty decision. So where we might want to see some things happen a little faster, I feel like we can't compromise. No, you know, we can't compromise on the look, the feel, the you know, all the attributes that we have planned and toiled over. So even if someone were to render an offer to us, but in a way that doesn't represent what we want, I would be okay with saying no to that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I think after reading this, which I'm going to go back and reread it again, because I think I was reading it and like, oh, that relates to me. And then also it was more like, let me hurry up and get through it so we can do the podcast. I want to go back and like really sit down with a cup of coffee and like reread it, because I felt like he was talking to us. Like, oh man, he kept bringing up business and I think almost every possible scenario that could make someone say, well, you don't understand because you haven't been through this. was touched on in the book.
Yeah,
Whether it be
was.
loss, whether it be, trials with business, relationships, like every aspect of things that happen in life that sometimes make you feel like you're being singled out or you're the only person that's experienced in this. It's like it lets you know that everybody has to work through situations and circumstances. You're not special and you're not exempt. You're not special and you're not exempt. So you're going to you're going to go through things, you're going to experience things, but how you respond or how you react is indicative of your faith.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And also kind of like the fair weather faith. He kind of talked about that too in the book, where it was like, you have all this faith when you're going through something really bad, and then it's like, all right, God, I'll get back to you when something else bad happens. So it's like, make sure you maintain that faith, even when it's a mundane day or a regular day or a great day. Like, make sure to maintain that. So man, it was really like, what?
There was a conversation that me and Deonna had today where she was like, did you read the book? You need to read the book. You need to get in tune with that, because I mean, it really does. Like, take a moment. Think about a tough time that you went through, a time when your faith was tested, or something that you wanted so bad. Think about that time. But I think it's so important in every situation like that to step back for a minute. Breathe in what you're going through. Take a second to say, how can I work through this? How can I get through this? How can I allow God to kind of, how can I listen and hear God and kind of work through it?
Yeah. So. And in a minute, guys, we're going to share a link if any of you want to join in on our conversation.
Are you giving me this to do it?
Oh,
this is live TV, guys. No. What do you want? How am? Oh, you sent it to me on Facebook.
I did.
Oh, you did. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So
where can I find it?
Right there. What's perfect. Okay. There you go. Share it.
Okay, guys.
So it was a part of the book I wanted to share with everyone. You can't see it, obviously. It's terrible. That's okay. Anyway, it was talking about the different levels of faith. So, vacant lot. Okay. No vision or direction, available, full of potential. Porta potty faith, used as a last resort, usually full of crap, requires a lot of maintenance, has just enough room for one. Trailer home, not set in stone, easily moved, which means something happened, you could just be moved. Not anchored down, susceptible to damage from outside circumstances, doesn't have enough room for others. Fixer-upper faith, pretty solid belief structure, but compromised integrity due to doubt, disappointment, and damage over the years. Needs a little work. Mansion, large, strong framework, intentionally designed to last a long time, aesthetically pleasing to attract others, set up to leave a legacy for future generations. And then there's skyscraper, huge visions, giant goals, daring dreams, lifestyle of faith on public display that is focused on serving countless others. So, as far as your hopes, dreams, and visions for the future, would you be a skyscraper, mansion, fixer-upper, trailer home, porta potty, or a vacant lot?
Dang! Well, I will say I know a couple of skyscrapers. The one we actually talked to today. My pastor's faith is absolutely strong, so I try to be that way in faith. But I'm gonna have to go with
for your hopes, dreams, visions for the future. Do you think you're a mansion, a fixer-upper, a trailer home?
A skyscraper.
Okay.
Deonna.
I know Deonna's a skyscraper. What are you, Deonna?
For my hopes, dreams, and what? Goals for the future?
Vision for the future.
Yeah. I would say a skyscraper.
I think for that one, I am a skyscraper. What about your personal development?
Iris is a fixer-upper. Right.
Girl, I hear you. Listen, so it's a few different categories. And I think one of them I was like, it might be a little fixer-upperish. So for personal development, what category do you think you would be under?
Personal development. Can we have a definition? Personal
like working on your inner health, whether it's mental health, outer
Physical
health,
health.
which is your physical
Definitely
health.
a fixer-upper.
Fixer-upper?
Yes.
Okay, so you have a pretty solid belief structure with a little compromised integrity.
Mhm.
Okay. I think I might be there too, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, for personal development.
Iris, I'm waiting on your answer. So
personal development, I'll say I'm probably between a fixer-upper and a mansion. Oh, it depends. There's different components to that. So for my physical health, I'll say physical.
Why you look at me?
I did it. I didn't say it. I know those
children. What would you be for that?
What do you mean, children?
I don't know. It just says children. So maybe
how you see them, or their future.
Their future. I don't know. It just says children.
Definitely skyscraper.
Yeah, I think I'm a skyscraper. I really. Kaylin, my son, is a gamer. He has a full-time job in
Iris
games.
is same.
But he just made affiliate level, so he's able to monetize. Yeah, I'm so happy for him.
Shout out,
Kaylin.
And not only that, what else? Let's
What?
talk about my nephew. He just got a new car.
He got his first car in his own name, no co-signer,
He's a college graduate.
Yeah,
he's doing it.
He's said he wants to start a career toward the end of the year, so he's figuring that part out. But I'm just so happy for him. So I'm just going to
He's knocking out a lot since
he is
out of school.
Yep.
Deonna.
Oh yeah, I'm skyscraper for the kids. I feel like
finances.
Alrighty.
Are you a skyscraper, mansion, fixer-upper, trailer home, porta-potty, or vacant lot?
What about the finances?
I mean, managing finances, how you interpret it. So managing your finances or increasing your finances, where do you think you are?
So I think the possibilities are limited with increasing finances.
Mm-hmm.
So we can scrape the sky with our potential.
Our skyscraper with your children. And yes, definitely.
For finances, she is a fixer-upper.
Girl, everybody got to start from somewhere.
Absolutely. I'm going to go a mansion for all of the work that I've put in this year.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go mansion. I have some strong framework. I'm working on it, but you know, I feel like this time next year I'll be a skyscraper. Yeah. We'll have Cafe Coco Latte open. I'm closing my eyes because I'm dreaming it. We'll have it open. We're gonna be doing it. We're gonna be doing it real big.
Absolutely.
For your health, your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. Are you a skyscraper, mansion, fixer-upper, trailer, home, porta potty?
I'm gonna go a fixer-upper. You know, there's some things that I need to get stronger.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm in between a fixer-upper and a mansion. Like, I've done some work. You know, I'm working on it. I'm getting there. So, you know.
Yeah.
I think I'm in between.
Same. I'll say, same. The biggest work is the physical part. We're trying. We're on our way with our Transformation Thursdays.
We are on our way with Transformation Thursdays too. We are definitely. It's a topic of conversation every single day.
Yes. I'll skip the next one and move on to career.
Yeah, you can't skip that.
Romantic relationship.
Sorry, I'm skipping, girl.
Romantic relationship. I am a vacant lot.
If I have food if I have water,
I have a vacant lot over here. Tumbleweeds. Iris, I am a mansion. Thank you. I'm a mansion for finances, I guess. Yeah.
What are you saying?
I'm praying on the inside for this answer. I mean, you know, oh gosh, love. We actually had a great conversation about love and relationships and stuff like that. You know, for me, I think that I was going to take the easy way out and just say vacant.
It's easy to be. Oh shoot. Sorry.
I mean, you know what? So I'm starting to sweat. Give me something. Somebody give me something. I mean, it's just one of those things that life has taught me. Give me something, Iris, please. Oh, great. You didn't say me.
All right, girl, there you go.
I thought she was going to say me. So for me, I'm gonna go with definitely Fixer Upper. My life has been tested for sure with faith. It's one of those things where I'm like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, I would like to love to believe that one day I'll be married and one day I'll have that happiness. But I think that love is just one of those things that I have not been able to conquer.
So was the question, what was it? It said romantic relationship.
Romantic relationship.
Yeah. Did you answer?
I did not.
What's your answer, little sweetie dumpling?
She might want to see the...
Iris said yeah, because we haven't met date night yet.
Your date night. You had date night.
Oh yeah. Iris, and that's actually who I was thinking of, and I'm whatnots, and
yada.
And such. You know, for sure. I think love is just one of those topics. We're gonna have a whole episode.
We are gonna do an episode. It would be great if we could get somebody a male perspective on. Mm-hmm. So we'll work on that. We'd love to talk to any of you gentlemen out there who want to come in and talk relationships. Relationship goals. Yeah, that'll be the topic for me.
Career
goals. I think I'm a skyscraper.
Get the spotlight. Wait, I'm sorry, Deonna didn't.
For romantic relationship. No, you don't have to move on. Wow.
We'll turn it.
No.
Next race.
No. For a romantic relationship.
I'm sorry.
My glasses.
They are.
I'm like, is the devil in the devil? The devil is here.
No, not at all.
Right, Deonna screaming.
I would say we're in a mansion. We have room for expansion, but we have a large, strong framework intentionally designed to last a long time, aesthetically pleasing to attract others, and set up to leave a legacy for future generations.
Absolutely. All right. Come on with the mansion.
Career goals.
Skyscraper for sure.
Yeah.
Nothing's
stopping
that. Oh God. Friendships. Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Skyscraper. Yeah.
We up there.
We are. I think another testament to the conversation that we had this morning with one of our mentors was we are going to have a story to tell. We're 3 Black women who are working together through this thing. Mm-hmm. We are putting ourselves in a position where we could be different from everybody just by making it together, going through the ups and downs. We've even had pretty tough conversations along with each other where sometimes I was like, "Oh Lord, are we gonna make it?" But I think it has shown me that our faith must be pretty strong where we are continuing on with this thing.
Yeah, and we keep having the tough conversations. I think it's not natural to not have it. Right. You have to. Like, look, let's talk about it. Yeah. This is on my nerves now. So, let's deal with it. Because when you get into business, you're going to be faced with that.
Yes.
On top of like whatever comes along with the business and business stress and things like that. So
yeah, we don't want the fake stuff. We don't want the fake. We don't have a fake friendship. No. I think when something is bothering me, I have learned, and I learned this over time. It wasn't always this way, but I've learned over time where it's like, sit down, have the conversation with your friend. Let them know why you feel the way you feel. let them learn you more so they can understand why you react to things the way that you react to them.
Clarifying questions.
Ask clarifying questions. You are a clarifying question asker. Because sometimes I'm like, why do you want to know that? Why is that important for you to know? But really, you're trying to get into the guts of why.
Yeah.
I feel.
If you don't ask those questions, you're not getting to the roots of the situation. It's like, if you say, I'm unhappy today, okay, why? Okay, what about that incident made you unhappy? Because if you just say you're unhappy because this incident happened, you're not really expressing what is it about that that's making you upset. Because once you address that will be the thing that'll fix, the problem or help you to address it in the future. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Skyscraper for career and friendship for Iris.
All right. So I'm going to ask a question. So the back of the book has some hot questions for reflection, and hots. My book thing just jumped out. Hot means, I remember.
Humble, open.
You found it?
Humble,
open, and transparent. So humble, open, and transparent.
I remembered.
Consider the area of your life that you identified as having the weakest faith foundation. What is one baby step of faith that you could take to strengthen that, the fundamentals in that area?
So obviously mine is love, romantic love and relationship. I think a part of me, and I'm just being honest here, has kind of given up on it. I know it's sad, but I'm being truthful. Let's get it out because that's probably stop the sweats. I feel like it would be great. It would be wonderful to be with someone, get on get the house with the white picket fence,
we have
all of that good stuff.
Okay, we have a guest.
Wait.
Let her finish her statement.
Right.
He's gonna chill backstage
because he might sway this answer. So that's my thing. Or maybe he just got me out of it. Let me shut up.
I was trying to say
you have to announce our guest.
So Deonna, I'll let Deonna announce.
Coming to the stage.
Thank you, Iris.
Our first live guest is he's my brother, but he's also a pastor, so he can also speak on the topic of faith in many areas, in every area probably that we've discussed thus far. So without further ado,
we got Pastor G.
Pastor G.
What's up? What's going on, people?
How are you?
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
I am good. How are you all doing?
We are
Great. So we're talking about faith, crazy faith, in the ability to believe God for huge things that seem to be impossible to the average thinking mind and whatnot. So just give us your take on faith, to believe in God doing the exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask for type of thing.
That's a loaded question. And forgive me, I'm trying to find the shortest route.
You're a pastor. You get away with talking long.
I know, right? I don't want to take up my preaching minutes. But I'll say this, that when we look at the word faith by itself, it's often defined as believing. So to have faith in something or someone is, in the way that we often use it, is to believe in something or someone. So whether we have faith that when I put my key, is that a question?
No.
I saw the Baptist finger.
I'm sorry.
So whether it's not, I believe that if I put my key in my car, it's going to start, or I believe I had faith that my computer was going to work, or that you all were going to answer when I responded to the link. That's believing in something, but faith is a little bit deeper than that, just generically, in the sense of, to truly have faith into something is to rely on something. It's not only to believe into something, but it's to rely on something and commit ourselves to something as well. So when we're talking about having this biblical faith, the truth of the matter is, and in you all's term, crazy faith, there's absolutely nothing about God that makes sense to the human mind. I can't even begin to grasp the whole concept of God, who you and I, we have a mother and a father. That's how we got here. But we believe, crazy things that God has just always been. There is no beginning, there is no end for him. We believe that God, there's a Latin term called ex nihilo, that means something from nothing. We believe that God created the earth from absolutely nothing. Our cars or our clothes was made, but it was made from materials that existed already. But we believe that God created something out of nothing about that exists in the earth. It never existed before. But those are the things that we say that we believe. And then going to the gospel message, we believe that Jesus was born of a virgin and died on the cross, and then resurrected himself in 3 days, and then ascended to the Father. Again, none of this stuff makes any sense to what you and I know as human beings and the limits that we have as being humans. But there are no limits to God. There is no limits to anything that he's ever done. So we don't even have to look for and again, I understand what we mean by the exceedingly and abundantly beyond what we can think and or imagine. I can't think and or imagine the things that he's done already. So when we say that we have faith, one would almost either have to be crazy or completely inspired by God to rely on, to believe, to rely on, and commit ourselves to this truth that we believe is ultimate truth that far surpasses any of our human understanding.
So I have a question to you as a pastor. I think a lot of people look at pastors as an untouchable. They're not, walking the human experience like everyone else. Have you ever had a time where your faith was tested or shaken or broken at all?
My faith has been all of the above, and at any given time or day, that can happen. The Bible says that all men are given a measure of faith, but the Bible also talks about how we grow from faith to faith. The Bible talks about how our faith has to be tested, or it's easy to say that you believe in something, but if there's nothing to test that by, then is it really belief in it or not? Right. So the answer to your question is, yeah, I'm a pastor, but that's just an assignment that God has given me. But I'm still fully human, just like anyone else. And just like my faith has to be tested, my faith has been shaken. There's times where I just outright, just doubted God, where now this is the opposite of faith, where I don't believe in something. And I think that we can find ourselves, regardless of who we are, in any one of those phases in life. I think it's important that we don't try to, and you're right, pastors are kind of looked at, especially in our Black community. I mean, you got Jesus, and our pastors are a little bit like right there with them. But no, I think that it's important that we are transparent and identify and recognize and reveal and let people know that, no, I struggle in my faith and belief about certain things in my life all of the time. What's important is to be able to recognize it, be able to call it out, and then we can be, like the man, like the disciple, Lord, I believe, but help me in my unbelief.
Mm-hmm. So it's okay. It's okay to kind of take a step back and kind of look at what you're going through.
Absolutely.
And then,
yeah,
readjust.
I think that it's foolish to pretend like you don't struggle, or to pretend like there isn't an issue. I mean, God knows already, but we play those mental gymnastics with ourselves where we don't want to admit to it. And here's the beauty about all of that. Paul says that, where I'm weak, is there that I find his strength. This is where he's strong in me. So oftentimes our problem is that we're still trying to be strong in these matters in our faith and all of these other things. But the truth of the matter is God can only really reveal himself in our weakness, because it's at that point where it's no longer me trying to do it. Like I'm fully, solely depending upon him. And remember, I said the true definition of faith is to believe in, to rely on. And so I can believe in something, but not actually depend or rely on that particular thing to be my answer. So, but I only can do that once I find myself in a state of weakness, or I identify, recognize, like, hey, I can't do this. The only way it's going to happen is if God does.
Yeah. I think I had gotten to the point at some point where I hated the word strong. I hated it. I was like, no, don't tell me I'm strong. I don't want to hear it anymore. Because I was going through such a tough time where, it was like, I really had to take a moment to like deal with it, in my weakest time.
Yeah.
And then,
and people keep telling you're so strong because they don't see you breaking down in public or whatever. But it's like,
but we're programmed that way, right? I mean, man, we from the crib, we from Maywood,
Yeah.
We went to Washington,
Hey.
Wildcats, we went to Proviso East, But all of us are products of our environments, and we come from a place where, like, no, weakness is considered, like we never show our weakness. We're supposed to be strong all of the time, and that's really not the case. And then we approach God with that same mentality. When if in fact that we're strong, then we don't need him, but we need to present ourselves to him, and a lot of times he'll leave us in those situations because we won't surrender to him until we admit that, like, Lord, I can't do this, like I need you. And he was always there, but he just wanted you to recognize that you needed him to do it. So we have to kind of like erase all of that programming and things that our environments taught us, because it's counterculture when it comes to us living as believers in Jesus.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot.
Right, because I was going to say, what are the steps to get there?
I would also say this. It's hard to, it's hard for other people to see you in a weakened state. Like people who've only seen you as a strong person, if you have a moment of weakness, they don't know how to deal with that either. Like when I was grieving the loss of my father, that made a lot of people repel from me. Like they didn't want to see me crying or whatever, because they're not used to that. So even though I was okay with the fact that I was struggling, it wasn't okay for the people who were not used to me being an emotional person. So sometimes people don't allow you the space to be broken,
Yeah.
Well, that's because like that puts them in an awkward position, because then they often, that means they have to see themselves. Like, so if you're crying, you're struggling, like, man, like I really have to allow myself to be to show some empathy. And man, a lot of us, and again, it's not solely our fault, but our emotional IQ is very low, and I admit that about myself.
A lot of people don't want to, because they're like, "Oh, she's crying. I don't know what."
Right, like she's usually the one that's comforting somebody else, so I don't know how to, Which I'm very much like that too. I say that we all come from a very emotionally detached, background. But the older I get, the more emotional I get, which I didn't really like. I could say something that's something I didn't like, because I'm like, who is this person? I don't cry and all this stuff, But there's some things that you just, have to
Do you think
process
you could
that
be
way.
more vulnerable? You
If I
don't
think,
you don't always have to be the strong person. So
right.
because you are, and when people react to you that way, they're like, "Oh, well, she's just strong." So like, do you think then that you could maybe lax a little bit on always being the strong person and go through stuff, or is that gonna change?
I think it's circumstantial depending on what it is. Like, I don't feel like
Mhm.
I'm necessarily fronting being strong.
Right.
I think some things I am strong in,
Hmm.
but then there's going to be circumstances when I'm not.
Right.
And I think for me, I was still trying to be very protective of everybody else because I didn't want to make other people uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
because I felt a sense of responsibility and protection for other people, then I might would at times, stifle the way that I was feeling.
Hmm.
But not that I have a problem with not always being the strong one, but I guess I do feel protective of others.
Yeah.
I think over the years, I've been like, I just want her to break down one time. And
Yeah.
then when you did, I was like, oh, wait,
I wasn't ready. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's usually just for a moment. I think like even with my cancer diagnosis, that wasn't really like earth shattering to me. I think it was harder for me to grieve the loss of my father than it was for me to accept the cancer diagnosis, because it was like with my own cancer diagnosis, I never doubted for a second that God had the ability to heal me.
Mhm.
But with my father's my father's death, I was second guessing myself, like, well, maybe I should have taken him to a different hospital, or he stayed at this facility too long. So it was a lot of like grief and guilt and second guessing
But
my
never
decisions.
God blaming.
No, I wasn't
Yeah.
blaming God.
Yeah.
It took a little time when my husband passed. I was like mad at God for a second,
Is it okay to get mad at God, Pastor G?
Is it okay to get mad at God? I'm going to give you a yes and a no answer.
Okay.
And I'll qualify why I say yes and no. Ultimately, no, we shouldn't get mad at God. However, that's unrealistic to think that people in our humanness won't be mad at God. So I think that if in fact that you find yourself in that state that you are mad at God, that just need to identify what the issue is, and ask yourself, why am I mad at God? And don't just walk away and answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
And answer it, and then like have that conversation in prayer with him. Like we try to pray with all these different formalities, like have the conversation with him. I mean, he knows how you feel, but express to him how you feel and what you're feeling and why do you think that you feel it, and like let's have the conversation. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we should come back to a place that we find our trust and commitment, and belief in him for something. So sometimes things happen that we don't understand.
Yeah.
It's a natural response. All of us are wired different, where some of us become angry when we don't understand. Some of us become frustrated. So somebody might not even be mad at God, but they may be frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it differs for everybody. But I think that we should do ourselves the huge favor and actually have the conversation with him and let him know how we feel, and like and let's identify what the real issue is. And it's probably because we don't understand why God let this happen, and we'll say why God did this. And we often forget the fact that all things that happen, we forget the fact that God is sovereign, meaning that he has complete control, rule, and authority over everything. And anything that he allows us to go through, he has something there for us to learn from it. And then oftentimes when we face places of that makes us uncomfortable, in the fact Deonna lost her father, we've all probably lost a loved one, whether it be our grandmother, best friend, mother, father, whoever. And we like, well, God, I want this person to stay. Well, oftentimes we want the person to stay for our own selfish reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it makes me feel better that the person is here. It makes me feel better that I can call and talk to them. But we all have a time frame on how long that we're going to live here. And when that time is up, we have to allow God, for whatever reason that God fashioned this person to be here for this amount of time or that amount of time, that one day that's going to be our time.
Yeah. I think death is, for me, death at a very young age was taught that, look, it's going to happen. It's something that everybody's going to have to go through. It's the ugly part of life. It's going to happen. But I think where my faith tends to get tested is I feel like God has taken me on this trip, and we're on this trip and things are going great. And for our business, we get the grant and it's all good and everything is going great. And then it's like, sometimes it feels like an egg got thrown in your face because it's like someone says no, or someone doesn't believe in your dream. So for me, it's not death. It's more of things that happen throughout the journey where I feel like God is here with us. But it gets shaken a bit.
But where did you ever get the notion that everything was going to be all hunky-dory every day in every part of life? Like honestly,
like a fairy tale.
Where do we break you out the fairy tale?
Where do we get that from? So, like
fairy tales, she just told you.
Yeah, but she's not the only one that lives that fairy tale. So, like a couple of things, we see Jesus before he ascends into heaven, Acts chapter 1, and at the end of all the Gospels, he tells the disciples, he says, "Hey, go out, make disciples, and baptize." He tells them that you are going to be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. Mm-hmm. One would think they're like, man, this is great. Jesus himself just told us that we're about to do all of these great things. So you see that in Acts chapter 1, verse 8. He tells them to go out and do these things. But then if you look at Acts chapter 8, verse 1, here's the part Jesus didn't tell them. It says that a great persecution came and it forced all of the Christians out of Jerusalem. So this is now how the gospel message is being spread, because God allowed persecution to force them out of their comfort zones. And it forced them to leave and go to the other nations and then begin to spread the gospel. Mm-hmm. And this was what often happened in the first century church, that their blessings came through persecution. Everything wasn't like all hunky-dory. As a matter of fact, a lot of those men and women lost their lives for the sake of them being preaching the gospel. So we don't necessarily live in a time and an age where like we're being put to death for those things. But what I am saying is I think that this generation, and when I say generation, I'm not meaning millennials or X or whatever. I'm saying just this time and frame that we live in, that we're just, that we don't want to go, this age, we don't want to go through nothing. And oftentimes we meet God in our adversities.
Yeah.
And here's what James chapter 1 says. It says that consider it pure joy, and this goes against all our human thinking. It says, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds. For the testing of your faith produces patience, and let patience have its full effect, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And then it says that if any of you lack, then ask God. And if any of you lack wisdom, then ask God, who gives generously to all.
Yeah.
So these things that we go through is allowed because it's designed to push something out of us, and that's patience and perfection in God.
Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly, because I find that things always tend to work out when I'm not putting so much worry or concern on them. Yeah. I'm not bothered by the story didn't turn out the way I needed to turn out, or just every aspect of it. I just kind of, I hate to say put it off on God, but just allow him to do his work. Open up the door and allow him to do his work. And I definitely find that things tend to work out better that way. So I receive that.
Yeah. So, we should celebrate the times when everything goes smoothly. But then we also need to learn how to, and again, it's about this reprogramming on how we think. Celebrate those times when things didn't go so smoothly, but because it's in those hard times that oftentimes, like, that's where we meet God at. And if everything was just, again, all hunky-dory, we would be like most of us are, where we're spoiled children, that we don't appreciate nothing because we feel entitled, like everything is just supposed to happen because I have a dream. But you'll find anybody that ever had a dream that became great in his history, they had to face adversities to get there.
Yeah. So moral, the story, it's okay to go through stuff.
Yes.
Make sure.
Well, I mean, you're gonna go through stuff.
You're gonna go through
whether you think it's okay or not.
Okay, I should say it's okay to go through it and not allow your faith to be tested.
Well, no. Remember, I just quoted James 1. It says, "Consider it pure joy."
Right.
I've been reading my Bible.
Put this on your refrigerator. Write it on your mirror.
Okay.
Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds.
Okay.
For the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, or some translations say patience. And let patience have its full effect. And here's why: so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And then if any of you lack wisdom, ask God, who gives generously to all.
Yes. Trials are building your faith muscle.
Your faith has to be tested, or else it's not faith.
Okay. That's good to know. Because I think definitely a lot of times people are like, well, why am I being challenged? Or why do I have to go through this? Or why me? Why this? Why that?
Why not you? Is the question. Like, why not you?
Facts. It's been times where I'm like, well, I didn't deserve this, or like I always have to go through something, So
it's like we all went to school to some level. How is it that how was it that it was proven that you are able to go to the next grade level? You had to take a test.
Yeah.
All the information that you had, it had to be tested to see if you know it. And that's how life works. Like, so yeah, we say that we have faith in Christ. So what? It means absolutely nothing if you have not faced anything to prove that you have faith in.
Yeah.
So I think we should.
No.
I have more questions for sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I've been truthful. The conversation about love came up, and I think that for me, I think for me that I have just lost faith in it. This is my saying. I say this often. It's gonna it happens or it's either it's gonna happen or it's not gonna happen. And if it doesn't, I'm done with it. Is it wrong to think that way?
You see what you just did? Because you just generically threw out the word love, but by me listening to you, I'm assuming it's going to be. I think it's safe for me to assume that you're referring to love as in regards to companionship,
marriage,
etc., etc.
Yeah.
So, on that note, you're asking me, you've lost faith in that, and is it okay for you to feel that way?
Is it okay for me to feel that either it's going to happen or it's not? Yeah. That's what I'm asking.
Yes, it's perfectly fine for you to feel that way. There's no right or wrong answer in that.
But what is your desire?
But that's not your desire. So again, that's that mental gymnastic.
Like, she just took a deep breath over here.
Yeah, you're going to drive yourself crazy. If in fact you desire to be in relation with someone, I mean, man, there's probably many of things that we could do, but here's what I would suggest. Here's what I would suggest, just being a pastor. Here's what I would suggest as being a man. Here's what I would suggest as being your older brother. Like, while you're in this time of singleness, man, go hard with focusing on all your dreams and desires. Go hard, go even harder in seeking out a relationship with Jesus Christ. Man, just go hard at that, because what will happen is someone will notice you, and God will inspire, he'll put you in the path of someone that you don't even know that's checking you out. But begin to focus and learn about yourself and who you are and who God created you uniquely to be. So that way you will know and understand your value, and you just won't be giving yourself away freely to anybody that come along and smile at you and say the right thing.
Yeah.
I purposely said this as, let me say it to you as a man and as your brother, because, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a man. And there's a lot of opportunists out there that can smell that like desire, and it's not a bad thing, like a mile away. And they will come and present themselves in a manner that, there are all of these things that you desire, and they're no good for you. But how do you get caught up in that? Where was the godly discernment in all of that, where the Holy Spirit lives inside of us? And man, these warning flags goes off all of the time. Like, God was always showing you this stuff.
I have not. She asked me if I've been talking to you about her. I have not.
Just hit the gas and drove through all of these stop signs. And then you end up finding yourself caught up in something, and then you're like, well, God, why did you let this happen to me? And he's like, daughter, I tried to, I gave you the stop signs, and you just drove right through them.
Yeah.
So here's the other part of that same chapter that I told you in James chapter 1. If we go down somewhere around verse 21, somewhere down there, it says that when a man, and that's man and woman, is tempted, he is tempted by his own desires and is dragged away and enticed. So when we start, and some translations say lust, but so when we hear that word, we automatically think sex. But no, like, I desire a relationship so bad that I can't even see reality, and this dude is a freaking idiot. There's nothing about him that's going to add to me, inspire me to grow. As a matter of fact, in 5 years after he's wasted my time, I'm gonna have to make up all of the stuff that he drained me and took away from me, because there's something about him, because I desire this so much. So when so my desires has the ability to drag me away. It first drags me away to seclusion, and it continues to entice me. And then it's birthing something. And next thing you know, you've been pulled so far out of God's will, and you with this freaking jerk, because your desires got the best of you. And it also, that same verse says too, that so when you're tempted, don't say that God is tempting you, for God does not tempt, nor has he tempted anyone of evil. The evilness is the fact that our desires surpass God's will, and it pulled us away from it.
Yeah.
So the next time some guy come rolling up on you, even though he might be handsome, he might be checking you out, you ain't got to let him see you sweat. Just pump the brakes a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And say hello, and begin to allow his character to put some time on it. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. Like, it's gotten so bad for me.
You don't have to rush into it.
No, for me, it's gotten so bad that they smile, and I'm just like, I see right through it.
No, smile back. I always always smile back. But also, as a man, I'm gonna always let you know that the ball is in your court. So, and again, some of us are better. Now, I'm about to get kicked out. I mean, I'm married now, so my player card been took from me, but I ain't gonna be able to walk amongst the fellas anymore. But like, no, always smile back, man. Men love that stuff. Men love the chase, and I ain't saying that you got to play a game, but I will tell you that, once we get whatever it is that we wanted, and especially if it's quick, man, that was a quick kill. I'm about to go hunt somewhere else.
Mm.
So, man, you can always smile back, but just know that the ball is always in your court.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you have to realize your value, your self-value. And man, here another Bible verse tells us not to cast our pearls amongst swine, because they're just going to trample all over it. So a dude that don't know your value, like, man, like it don't mean nothing to him. Like
Yeah.
he gonna trample all over it. But you got to be the gatekeeper of that, and just pump the brakes a little bit, and allow God to give you some discernment. Because who a person is, it'll eventually show. And when they show you who they are, don't convince yourself that they can be something different. Believe them for who they are.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm with it, Pastor G.
Like I said, that's your big brother. I just gave you a whole lot of game with that one.
Yes, definitely
What are the
something.
questions in the book?
I don't think I have any more. Did you guys?
I was just gonna say maybe we could all say if there's something that we have crazy faith crazy enough to believe that God could bring to fruition that hasn't happened yet, that we want to publicly say and agree with one another. We could do that.
Say that one more time.
Is there something, Greg included, that you are having faith in God to bring to fruition that hasn't happened yet, but that you publicly want to state, I have crazy faith that God will fill in the blank?
Oh, okay. I have crazy faith that God will allow us to be successful in business and open our doors in 2023.
I share that.
I share
And he
that
will,
faith.
and my husband as well.
Wait. What's happening with this husband
And your
in
husband what?
2023?
That he will come. That he will come. Oh, this is a 2023 thing?
No,
No,
it could be 2022,
whenever.
2023.
Yes, that God will allow me to open up my heart and receive love. Is that good?
Whatever it is.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's dope.
Thank you.
So I also have faith that God will allow us to open our doors no later than 2023. But if He want to do it before then, I'm cool with that too.
Yes.
I'll just leave it there for now. But my list is long.
Two more.
Yes. I'm in
Your
top three. Okay. That although I love my 27 feet square home, that I'll get that 10,000 square feet home.
We thought that might be included. Yeah. You see what she out here doing?
I mean,
look at his face. He like, whatever.
Why not? That's small.
It's fine.
For some, 10,000 square feet is small.
Yeah.
So it's all relative.
I just didn't know.
Okay, and then what's your third?
And my third will be that in spite of autism.
Okay. It's all right.
The declarations that the doctor gave us about what Bryce's future will be.
Mm-hmm.
Will be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't know how many people you're helping with that statement. That's beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely, it will be.
Yeah.
Sorry, Greg. We hope we don't make you cry on
no,
your first appearance on the show.
Y'all not shut me up on him. I'm gonna cry when I get
and what is your declaration?
Yes, what is your declaration?
I'm okay.
Man, I don't even know. I have faith enough to believe that that God's plan will come to pass, and I mean that for my life. you all as well, and everybody that the Lord has me connected to. It's just so much more in Him that we haven't seen, and this is bigger than houses and cars or anything tangible. I'm talking about those things that are eternal.
Yeah.
That I think that sometimes we kind of lose sight of. And like you all too, like I'm not inhuman where I do have some tangible things that I would like to see happen in my lifetime, but those are probably less important.
Gotcha. We got a little serious at the end.
Yeah, like y'all wasn't supposed to do that. Y'all set me up.
Look, there's no script on this podcast.
We just take it as it goes.
Next time y'all ask me to come, y'all gonna have to send me a script.
I know you know I was gonna hit you with the man question.
But we absolutely thank you for joining us in this conversation.
Thank you so very much.
With this spontaneous invitation.
Right.
Thank you for making yourself available for us.
You're gonna make fans on this show, so I hope that means you're gonna come back.
Please share your YouTube channel so anyone can check you out.
My YouTube channel, our church's YouTube channel is the Lighthouse on the Pike Church. The Lighthouse on the Pike Church. We're also the Lighthouse on the Pike Church on Facebook and Instagram. And then my personal is I'm on Facebook as Gregory Wardlow, and Instagram is Just Greg. So,
and they could check your live stream on what day?
Our live stream is every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's 10 a.m. you all's time on Sundays. And then we do Bible study live stream on Thursdays. Matter of fact, that's why I was late with you all today at 7 p.m. And the cool thing about our Bible study is you can ask your questions in the chat, and we'll address your questions real time on our Bible study. So even if you're not here, right now we're discussing the book of Galatians. So we're working through the whole book on Sunday and through Bible study. But man, you can ask whatever question that you have, and we'll address.
Oh, that's cool. That's interactive church.
Yeah, real.
And then go ahead and give them your actual physical address for those who may be in the DMV area or passing through.
Our church address is 5904 Marble Pike, District Heights, Maryland, 20747. If you are in the area, I advertise with the church with the blue doors. You'll see it when you get here. I painted all the doors blue. But that's 5904 Marble Pike, District Heights, Maryland.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much for joining us.
Man, thank y'all for having me. This is cool. Man, y'all always been my little sisters.
Thank you.
Y'all done grown up on me.
We did. We're out here making you proud, though.
Yeah, you are. I'm proud of all of you all.
Very cool. So you will be back on the show?
Yeah, anytime. Just hit me up. Cool. I love to.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We're going to end our podcast for today.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Yes.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you guys for joining in. It was longer than we normally do, but this was a good conversation.
Yes.
And
it's only crazy until
it happens. And tell us about what faith decisions or how strong your faith tends to be. Did this conversation help to question things in your life where what did you get out of it, basically?
And is there anything that you're believing God for that you think is crazy? Because we're crazy enough to believe God with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Or things you want to work on, you want us to pray for you, whatever the case may be, send it,
And if you haven't read the book, show them the book again. Yes, check it out.
Check
Michael
the
Todd.
book out. It's on Amazon. It's on Audible. It's funny. It's an easy read. It definitely gets you thinking, why I feel a certain way about things, and how I can improve on my life. And I think for sure this conversation has made me say, let me take another step in and kind of take a look at how I'm saying things, because it may be perceived like I've given up, but I truly haven't. It's just a matter of kind of how you walk with your faith.
It's not a stuffy book. Sometimes when you think of, a Christian book or something like that, you think it might be a little too buttoned up, but this was a really good read, and it's definitely something that I read and I'm going to go back and reread and maybe highlight some things for myself. So, like I said,
it's relatable.
You can find it online. I saw it in Target. I saw it in where was I just at? What's my favorite stuff?
Target.
I don't know.
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby. It was in Hobby Lobby.
It was in Hobby Lobby.
So definitely you can buy it anywhere. But we are going to introduce another book, probably on our next podcast, what we'll be reading next month. And we'll definitely share that with you guys. So
thank you guys for watching. And those that didn't comment, I know sometimes people watch from their television and can't necessarily comment, but we want to thank you guys for staying the entire episode, and we hope you enjoyed it. And if one of the people that are online is my mama, I'm sure you're gonna tell me everything. Everything, all the things. So please, thank you guys. We appreciate you so much. You have absolutely no idea.
And if you watch it on the replay, still
on the replay.
Comment.
All right, guys.
Yes, please. If you watch this later, comment.
Yes, we go back and read the comments.
Yes, and we respond to everything. And when we get a comment, we get an email, and we're like, we got a comment. So please, definitely make sure that you comment for sure.
All right. Until next time.
Bye, guys.
Keep it brewing.
Keep it brewing.
We're looking at the camera. The camera's on here. Keep it brewing. Bye, guys.
We did that all episode.
I know.
Now we got
that one. We had two.